bring it. Gone through in the last 3 years that, when he came back and performed straight away in the Ashes, he's, mentally very strong, very tough. He knows that times he's going to be criticised, and he's handled that supremely well, not only this week, but since he's come back into our side. So if anything, I think he feeds off it. His statistics will speak for themselves, and we'll see the best of Steve Smith again this week. And the second part of that question, like I said the other day, we set high expectations for ourselves. Last week we didn't meet them. And when you do that, then you leave yourself open for criticism. And like I said, we've copped that on the chin. We're now looking forward to this test match, controlling what we can control, which has been our preparation and the way we go about this test. So we can't wait for tomorrow.
We'll go to Braden Ingram.
Morning, Tim. Can you just tell us how Will PUCOVSKI's travelling? Did he train today? Will he play tomorrow, or you don't know yet?
Yeah, Will PUCOVSKI won't play tomorrow. So he's tried to train this morning, didn't quite come up. So he'll have a bit of work to do, I imagine, with our medicos to see where he goes from here. But I think he's obviously missing this test match. Marcus Harris will replace him. And I think there'll be some discussions around Will's recovery and what that looks like. I'm not too sure at the moment. As I said, he's literally just had a fitness test then and didn't get up. So they'll be talking about that now. But, Marcus Harris will come in, open the batting, and we're looking forward to seeing what he can do.
And Tim, just in terms of this match, aside from all the histrionics and everything that's gone on and all the talk, this match, do you feel like it's one of the biggest you'll ever play in against India, series on the line, a chance to get the Border Gavisco trophy back?
I've said lots of times, like every test match now with the test championship is important in terms of where our team wants to be at. And again, every test match you play for Australia as an individual is a huge, huge test match. Everyone's playing for spots, playing for careers. So it's a serious business every time you go to play for Australia. And, we're aware that this is a big test match. There's no doubt about that, but it doesn't change the way we'll go about it. Doesn't change the way we prepare. Doesn't change the way we'll try and play. We've just got to try and execute on skill. And again, I've said it many times. We feel like when we do that, we can beat any team in the world.
Josh McLean.
Hi, Tim. We got some shots through yesterday of the pitch. It looks like a typical, beautiful Gabba pitch with plenty of pace and bounce. So I would have thought, is that what you're expecting once again?
Yeah, absolutely. It's what I'm expecting. So much so I haven't even been out there to have a look at it. So I think the Gabba wicket's been, a brilliant wicket for Test cricket forever. So we don't expect that to change. From a distance, it looks like it always does. It looks like a magnificent wicket. It's a great place to play Test cricket. So, our boys are excited to be back here at the Gabba. We love playing here. And one of the main reasons is because of that wicket. So I find this a good place to come and play because I don't have to go and look at it. I know what it's going to be like.
Chris Gary.
Tim, Alyssa Healy this morning had a bit of a crack at the Indians who have been complaining about the quarantine conditions. Basically, she got on the front foot and said it's a global pandemic. Pull your heads in. We're playing for our country. I guess, have you found quarantine hard? Do you understand the complaints from some of the Indian players?
Well, first, I haven't seen those comments at all from Alyssa, but and to be fair, I haven't heard any complaints from the Indian players. We're all aware of what we signed up for, and I think it's been challenging for everyone. Probably more so for them because they're in a different country and away from their families. So, I certainly understand the difficulties that the Indians are going through. We've had Steve Smith, David Warner, and Pat Cummins have been in the same shoes as them for the same amount of time. So it's a difficult thing, but again, I haven't heard anything directly from the Indian players, nor does it really affect the way we're going to go about things tomorrow.
And just on Marcus Harris, can you just talk a bit about what he brings to the team, what he can add in this fourth test?
Well, Harry's just a no-fuss, very good player. He's been working his backside off in our hub for a while now. He's had huge numbers in Sheffield Shield cricket, deserves his opportunity. We're looking forward to him going out and doing his stuff. He just goes about his business, Harry. He brings good humour, a bit of comedy to our team, and He's a really relaxed type of character. So he's someone that we certainly enjoy having in and around our group, and someone that we've got full confidence in that if he gets in and gets a start tomorrow, that he'll cash in and make the most of it.
Rocky McNeely.
Thanks, Cole. Hey, Tim. Obviously, there's a few guys in the squad, looking at Mitch Swepson, Moses, Sean Abbott, Michael Neeser, who haven't played. Are any of them in contention? And if not, will they be heading back to the Big Bash before the test starts?
No, well, I think, as I said, I think the only change is PUCOVSKI for Harris. And yeah, I think in an ideal world, we would like those guys to be playing as much cricket as they can. But given the quarantine restrictions that we're in, and the fact that we can't go into some states, means that everyone will be staying together until the end of this test match and potentially beyond. We're still waiting to find out, when we can go home, or if we are going to Big Bash, or if we're staying here in quarantine, or we're going somewhere else. But again, that's something we can't control. But those guys who haven't played cricket and have been here the whole time have done an amazing job as, our spare players have trained hard and they've worked hard on game days, making sure that the guys on field have got everything they need. So those guys have been awesome and a huge part of our team.
Correct.
Morning, Tim. Tim, just a quick question on Nathan Lyon. His numbers haven't been great this series, but just looking at it from behind the stumps, do you think the Indians have just played him differently? Because he seems to have been cut and pulled a lot more than we generally used to seeing him.
No, I think he's bowled okay. Again, I thought in Adelaide in the first Test match, he created heaps of chances that didn't go to hand. I felt the same the other day. I thought he bowled beautifully. And had I caught a couple, it's a completely different story for him. But look, I mean, Nathan Lyon played 100 Test matches. That's not easy to do. It means you're the top of the tree in terms of how good he is. I don't think that's changed. I don't think it will change. And to see him play 100 tests tomorrow is an amazing achievement from a guy who was, I think, plucked off a roller at the Adelaide Oval. So, no, I'm not seeing any decline in him. Sometimes you get wickets and sometimes you don't. It's still coming out of his hand beautifully. As you touched on, I think at times the Indians have played him very well. But again, at times what we felt, or we know, looking at the footage, he created a lot of chances. Some just not quite going to him, and some we've dropped. So we expect again that he will have a huge role to play in this test.
Cheers, Tim.
Oh, sorry.
He said cheers.
Ben Horn.
Tim, Sonny Gavisco, back probably one of his most famous moments for Australian fans is him trying to walk off the field after he copped a bad decision and tried to forfeit a test match against Australia. I know you sort of came out on the front foot and sort of owned everything that happened on the weekend, but some of the kind of more wild kind of comments that have been passed on yourself and the Australian team, have you sort of made anything about that?
Well, I have, yeah, but I'm not going to go into it and get in a back and forth with Sonny Gavisco. I don't think I'm going to win that. So, yeah, look, he's entitled to his opinion. It doesn't affect us one iota. If anything, I think it's adding to the test match, which is great. So Sonny can keep saying what he wants to say, but at the end of the day, it's absolutely nothing to do with him.
Marty.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi Tim. Just one on Nathan. Obviously, you mentioned his story into the test team was a bit unorthodox. Can you remember the first time you came across him and where that was and what your first impressions of him?
Yeah, I think the first time I saw him was in a Big Bash game, watching him on telly, and I thought, geez, this bloke looks pretty average. He's lobbing up these off spinners and getting a bit of drift, but he didn't look that flash, I thought, old Gaz. But then not long after that, he was sort of picked out of nowhere, and we went on an A tour to Zimbabwe, of which I was captain, and the one-day part of it, and he absolutely bowled the house down. And within, 2 or 3 games, we knew that he had something pretty special in his hands. And I think literally the next tour, he was sort of plucked to play in that test series in Sri Lanka. So, yeah, my very first one was like, geez, I hope that bloke plays against Tassie because I'll line him up. And then about 2 months later, I was wicket-keeping touring him in Zimbabwe, and I thought, had a completely different opinion of him. And, yeah, I think he's amazed everyone with his journey and where he's come from. And his ability to just keep delivering game in, game out, and to be, sitting on the verge of 100 tests and 400 wickets. As I said, from a guy who I think Darren Berry plucked off a roller at the Adelaide Oval, is a bloody good story. And I know everyone in our team and Nathan Lyon's family is really proud of what he's been able to achieve, and we're looking forward to making this week really special for him.
Thank you.
Rob Forsyth.
Hey, Tim. Was just wondering where the Gabba sits in your top 15 most intimidating grounds. And I suppose, more seriously, in terms of crowd behaviour, or given what happened at the SCG, is there anything you'd like to say to anyone who's thinking about coming along and getting stuck into the Indians?
Yeah, look, I think it sits right up there, no doubt about that. It's a hard place to come and play cricket. I've said before, even for Tasmanians and Victorians to come here, it can be challenging to adjust to the different bounce and the different speed of the wicket. So it's something that's been an advantage to Australian teams for a long time. So I think I had it in my list of 15, if I remember correctly. And in terms of crowd behaviour, I think it's all been said plenty of times. We don't condone the abuse of anyone, let alone from a sort of a racial standpoint. So, we want people to come along to Brisbane, enjoy the game of cricket, support Australia, support India, support the umpires if you like. But my suggestion is you leave the abuse at the gate and just respect the players, respect the game, and have a good time.
A couple more here from some of the Indian media. We'll go to Kushan Starc first.
Tim, considering there was so much talk about your wicket keeping, I want to ask the technical aspect of it. Did you identify what are the areas that led to the drop catches, or it was just a mental thing? Or have you had a chat with any of the former greats, the Australian wicket keeping greats, to sort out what you need to sort out?
No, I think there was probably a little bit of both. There was a slight technical thing, nothing major, that's for sure. I've put most of it down to the fact that I was a little bit tense. That makes my arms and hands a bit stiff and a bit tight. So that, and I don't want to bore you with it and get into it, but I think at times the ones off Nathan in particular, I actually let the ball get underneath my eyes, and my hands were too close to my body, and I didn't have enough room to go with it. So for me, the slight technical tweak is making sure that I'm getting my hands a bit further out in front, giving myself a bit more room to move and adapt with the ball, and not let the ball get under my eyes. As soon as it gets under your eyes, you lose sight of it. So I've done a bit of work on it yesterday. Had today off to make sure I'm fresh, and as I said, the main part of it for me is making sure that when I go out to play tomorrow, I'm enjoying it. I'm relaxed, and when I'm like that, then my hands are soft and my arms are less tense, and those balls stay.
Dan Brady.
Tim, just one looking back to, I suppose, the preview day for the last test. You said at the time you felt like the temperature was rising, and it would be interesting how things turned out in the test match. Do you feel like, in hindsight, it was maybe a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy there in terms of sort of where your head went to and where the match went to, and have you got a different viewpoint and attitude going to this game?
No, I think it's the same. I just think I'll handle it differently. I let it get under my skin. No doubt about that. I've admitted that, but so for me, it's about rising above it and concentrating on what I'm doing, and concentrating on leading my team, and not worrying about what's going on the other side. So that's the focus for us. We've spoken a lot this game about controlling what we can control, and focusing more inwardly on ourselves. We think if we do that, then we'll be in a good position.
Andrew Wu.
Yeah, good day, Tim. You've spoken about, I suppose, needing to, be a bit more sort of relaxed and not get tense, and that sort of helps you keeping. How do you actually do that, like in terms of mentally become more relaxed? Because I suppose if you make an aim of becoming more relaxed, then that sort of may create more tension in doing it. I mean, is there any sort of mind exercises or anything?
No, I think if you look throughout my whole career, I think I've done a pretty good job of staying relaxed for 99% of it. So again, it's going back to how I play my best cricket, and like I said, that's having a smile on my face. It's enjoying cricket for what it is, which is a game. And again, at times the other day, I certainly felt I got caught up in the moment. I think what I've been really good at is being able to step back and, even just have a look around the crowd at times and realise that at that very second in time you're playing and captaining your country in a test match, it's something that I've always wanted to do. So remind yourself that way to enjoy it. Obviously, I'm going to compete very hard. That's what I do. I want to win as much as anyone, and I'm a competitive player. But, there's a fine line. For me, it's the same with my batting. If I'm too tense and trying too hard to fight hard, then I'm a pretty ordinary batter. If I look to go out, relax, have fun and look to score, then I'm normally a much better player. So it's just a slight tweak in my mindset. Nothing new to me. It's getting back to what I normally do.
Thanks.
Crash.
Tim, Mitchell Starc looked down on form in Sydney. What do you make of him? And has there been any sort of attempt to sort of rejuvenate him a bit in the last few days, or have you had a chat to him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we've tried to rejuvenate all three of our big fast bowlers. Last week was a big week for them, and particularly a big day 5 and a short turnaround. But I've said, a couple of times this week, those guys are very good at doing that. They're professionals. And the reason they're great test cricketers is because they're all extremely durable. So we've seen it again this series. They're about to play their 4th test back to back. And in terms of Starkey, he's just that type of bowler. Some days Starkey looks like he's like what he is. He's one of the great bowlers in the world. And the next day he has a bad day like the rest of us. But, even his last spell, I thought in Sydney was outstanding. We know how good he is. We know that on his day, he can rip a test match apart. But that's not going to happen for him every day. So, yeah, for me, my role with Starkey is to try and the same thing. And that's why I was disappointed on day 5. My role with him is to keep him nice and calm and to keep him really clear on what I and we expect of him. And he's the type of bowler that when you give him really simple, clear instructions and keep him on an even keel, he normally bowls the house down. As a touch, and I thought my mood around day 5, potentially he was one that I affected and was a reason why he wasn't at his best. So, again, it's about me getting back to basics. Keeping him nice and relaxed, keeping him really clear on what we want him to do. And when we do that, he more often than not delivers.
Thank you, Chad.
Sorry if I haven't got to on. I think we'll finish up with one more from Raj from A&I.
Thanks, Cole. Hi, Tim. Over the years, we've seen that you're a natural kind of player who gets into banter with the opposition players. Would you be wanting to curb your natural instincts this week, or would you still get into conversations with the players, you think?
Again, I'll be being myself. I think I've now played, don't even know how many tests I've played, but I think I've gone about it in a pretty consistent fashion. I think 99% of the time I said, the other day I let the moment get to me, which is a very rare thing. Bit of a blip on the radar, but as I've said, I've copped that on the chin. I'll look to come out this week and play competitive test cricket as I always do. And if there's a bit of banter to be said, then I'm always up for that. I've just got to be aware of the stump mics and be a bit more respectful of the umpires, officials, and the players I'm against. But I certainly enjoy engaging in that. I find it good fun, and I think it's part of the game. Just got to be careful with where I take it, and I fully understand that.
Thanks, everyone. And again, sorry we didn't get to one. There was a lot of people on that call. Thanks very much to everybody and Tim for today, and we'll catch up with you over the course of the game. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Cole.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Cole.